So it's the first week of autumn. However, where we live, we essentially get an extra month of summer. And so over the next 3 or 4 days, we're going to have about 40 degrees Celsius days. But I've just started doing another round of sheep mulching. We just got our hands on a trailer load of alpaca manure. So I just started putting down some almonds in the food forest. But I thought what I'd do is just show you the condition of the soil. At this point, it's the end of summer. I anticipate it to be quite dry. We've only done one major lot of sheep mulching in this area, in this food forest area, since we started it. So we're still trying to build up fertility, but let me show you the condition of the soil at the end of summer. Yeah. You can feel the moisture to the right where the tree is. So as you can see, it's still pretty dry. We only had one major rain event in the whole summer period, which is I did a video on showing the water harvesting system, so you can click the link to see that. But so it's very dry. We've only watered the fruit trees. We haven't watered anything else in the food forest. We're just wanting to get the system to take care of itself. We actually got our hands on some alpaca manure locally, just like 300 meters up the road. So that's been put down on as part of the sheep mulch. And like I said, we'll put more do a lot more sheep mulching in the early autumn. And then in the winter, I'll do a chop and drop and add that material to the sheep mulching. Morning everyone. We're just coming to the end of late summer in Australia. We've had just the last 3 days have been quite hot, and we're expected to get about 8 to 30 mils of rain today. Like we're just starting to move properly into autumn. It's fairly still this morning, and the sun's out a little bit, and hopefully we're going to get a nice amount of rain today just to take the pressure off. We find that things don't really grow in summer. They tend to go dormant, and then once it starts to cool down, we start to get some new growth. So over the next couple of months, I'll be continuing to do sheep mulch across the food forest. I'm going to add some pine needles, maybe some horse manure, just general compost material, more straw, just to build up our soil in the food forest. But I thought I'd give you a bit of just a little tour, and I'll add like B-roll as we go along. But the other thing I'll be doing after I do the sheep mulching will be, maybe more in the winter time, will be to do a bit of a chop and drop, and so let more light in through the winter months. Just sort of open the paths up again. They're a little bit overgrown, like the salt bush there. I cut that back down to like about a foot high last year. So things tend to grow quite a bit in a 12-month period. But let me just take you through. We've got pears on the vine, pears on the tree here. They're probably soon able to be picked. The challenge we've had is there's just so much to learn, and we've been running and gunning a little bit, even though we've been doing this for 8 years. There's so much, like the more micro stuff we don't know about. So like we've managed to grow some pears, but we don't quite know when to pick them. And but I would say they're supposed to be ready in about autumn. So we should maybe start picking one every couple of weeks and just see how they're going. But this is our almond tree. You can see it's got a little bit of some sort of burn marks from the hot weather. But it's also just leaves are starting to die off now in the early autumn. We did get a couple of almonds off that this year, which is cool. We've got a number of Leucaena. So here's one here, just loaded with seed. And we've got another one over here. Let me get a better view of it. So I chopped that right back. You might be able to see it down here. Chopped it right back about 12 months ago. The reason to chop it back was these Leucaena just get decimated by the frost. So it was pretty much dead. So I chopped it off there, and just thankfully it grew back, and it's grown about 6 feet, which I know Jeff has said, yeah, they'll grow 6 feet a year. The challenge we've got is when the frost comes, this thing's just going to struggle and be beaten back. So what I'm thinking of doing is what they do with moringa, is to cut it back in I guess before the frost, and gather straw around the stump, and you maybe use some wire just to keep it there, so it's all covered from the damaging frost until early spring, well, until after the last frost, and then let it grow again, let it continue to grow. So I'm not sure what people think, whether that technique would work with the Leucaena, but just keen to allow these to grow further and build a canopy. That was the original idea. But yeah, the very frost tender we found, and that's why we use these taggies as a alternative to try to yeah, just build biomass. But yeah, interested in people's thoughts. I did plant some comfrey at each point along here. And they started to do quite well because there's some it's shaded for most of the day. But in summertime it just they just died back. You can see it died back quite a lot. But I'm just hoping that with the rains coming and so on, that we might get get the comfrey growing back again. We've got a raspberry here. Haven't really got any fruit off it yet. It tends to go dormant in summer, and it's just started to grow some new leaves in the last couple of weeks. We've got here a kiwi fruit. Pretty sure we've got the male and female here. It struggles in the summer, but we're just persevering with it, hoping for it to be able to establish itself and take off. Pretty sure that's a mandarin. It's struggled here a bit. It hasn't grown much, but I keep watering it. Another one of the salt bushes. I'll show you when we go around the other side, but its branches have cracked under their own weight. So I'll chop and drop that later in the maybe in the winter time. This is an ornamental pear. Another Leucaena. I just love the deep green of the Leucaena. So at the moment, we're at the, I guess you could say the bottom of the food forest is the walkway here. So we've got basically 3 walkways, this one here, and then we'll go up to the second walkway, and we've got the swale in the middle. Now this is a plum that this has just struggled, but it's probably looking the best it has in a couple of years. We did have a eucalyptus platypus that covered this space here. So I was coming out to do some work on the garden this morning, and tucked away in the corner of the food forest, we have a fallen tree. This is a eucalyptus platypus. It's been in about 5 years, and we had really strong winds a few days ago, Christmas Day actually, and it just completely, the weight of the tree, it completely just snapped at the base. We had all of this wind coming from that direction towards here, and it would have just smashed against this tree and snapped it at the base. So that's sad. And when I looked at the stump, I noticed that the tree was only being held by like half, if not like 1/3 of the stump. The rest was like the tree, like it looked like that when looking at it before it fell down, but then it looked like this. So it looked like only 1/3 of the stump was actually attached to the tree, the rest was not, and that's why it just fell down so easily, and just fell down in that direction there. Luckily it didn't hit anything, so I just cut it up and used it. We'll use it for kindling, and I used some of it for creating a border around, just put borders around the walkway. So yeah, that was a shame. So we'll go back up here. So that's what we had over here, was one of these platypuses. We've got some bottle brushes there. They've taken a while to get established, but they're starting to take off, so they'll eventually screen this area here, which will be nice. So we've got a lot of Tagasasti trees to try to build up shade and biomass, and fix nitrogen into the soil. See here the salt bush, just the weight of it just fell in its own weight. Got a what's this here? Feed jower. It's struggled a little bit, but I've just paid more attention to it, and it just needed more water, and so it's starting to grow now that it's cooling down. Another Leucaena. We've got a red currant here that's really struggled. I think it just gets too much direct sunlight, so we're just hoping that will kick into gear once things get a bit more established. Got a macadamia tree. It's also just struggled a bit. Even though we've been doing gardening for, sort of trying to adopt permaculture principles for the last 8 years, still got so much to learn, and so many, lots of fails, lots of learning happening, but we're getting there. Pretty sure that's an orange. Yeah. We started with such a skeleton space that some things have taken some time to establish. These are Grevillea robustus. they grow quite tall. That's looking quite nice at the moment. I'm not sure what we'll do with them once they get larger, but it's just good to have them growing. We've got a lemon over here, so we're now heading into the third walkway here. So we've got a lemon here that was actually next to a eucalyptus tree here that we needed to remove. It was just hitting into the fence, and so we got rid of that. Just to let you know, none of the tree was wasted. All the large logs were used in our raised beds, and the smaller logs were used as edging for the paths in the food forest, and all the remaining material was mulched and we used on the path for the food forest. And we're going to plant, there's a little stake there, so we'll plant something there and something there. Off the top of my head, I can't remember what we're planting, but I know we've got a fig tree, and probably we'll plant another feijoa here to sort of basically fill this gap here, because we've got nothing happening here now. But now that we've got rid of the eucalyptus, I think this lemon tree should start to establish itself into this space here. Okay, some more fruit trees. That's a plum. That's a gala apple, I think. Sweet potato. And that's just the screening trees that we've got growing there. Down here we've got another mandarin. It needs a lot of water, but it's looking the best it's had in a long time. In fact, every year we come out of summer with our system a little better off. Like they're handling the summer period a lot better than it used to, and not requiring so much intervention from us. This was an apricot, I think, and I just didn't survive. Not sure if it's because it's close to this eucalyptus platypus, or maybe I didn't water it enough, but no, it didn't survive. So I'll plant something else here. Well, we'll be planting some more things, like I was saying, back over in that corner over there, the feijoa and fig trees. So we'll do that we've actually ordered some more bamboo to fill this space here. So we've got a bamboo there. We've had them in, I think, now about 4 years. So we'll put another one there and another one there to fill this space. I'll just show you the bamboo. We planted this passion fruit. I just had some old wood and just cut it up and made not a very pretty container, but it's doing the job. And now we actually got some fruit off it this year. Had a few false starts with passion fruit, because the earwigs that we had a heap of over the last few years love the passion fruit leaves. So every time we'd buy one and it'd start getting established in the early spring, it would just be gobbled up by the earwigs. So managed to get this one established. So next year we should get a ton of passion fruit. So we've got a plant there. We've got another one here that's establishing itself, but we're heading into autumn, so they'll probably be cut back and so on. But here's our bamboo. Bought this as a screen to the shed next door. It's needed a lot of water. We've got a whole lot of new growth starting to come up. Again, as it starts to cool off, the bamboo starts to grow. And this year we've got some really nice thick bamboo coming through. It's probably about the width of my thumb. Whereas this is the sort of stuff, we had even thinner than that when we first started. So we're starting to get some nice thick bamboo, and my hope is that reaches its sort of 6 to 8 meter height in the next couple of years. And the idea, because the shed next door is so tall, if we can get this 6 to 8 meters, it will be basically like, from where I'm standing, it will be about that tall. And so from in this area, it will be quite a bit of glare and radiant heat off this shed. So the higher it grows, just the nicer it's going to be for us. And we've just got this bottle brush here as well that was originally a shrub, I think. It was pretty small, and I just would cut the lower branches off, just trying to promote it to grow taller, because we've got this window here so we can look out and see this bottle brush growing, and now it's quite tall, so we're getting there. But yeah, I just wanted to show you as we're sort of heading into autumn now, it survived the summer. And it is, yeah, the summers here are so dry. Like, we've had 2 major rain events in about 5 months, and we've got another rain event coming today, so that'll be good. But yeah, we've got through the summer, and now we're going to get some rain and some cooler weather, which will just see this food forest start to grow a lot more biomass, which will tie in nicely with the chop and drop in a couple of months' time. So the project now is to plant the bamboo when it arrives, and plant a few more trees. So we'll sort of do a tree planting couple of days, and at the same time be sourcing material for the sheep mulching, just to build up the soil as much as possible, because we'd like to get a lot more ground covers happening. So build the shade, build the shade above the ground, and then build some shade on the ground. And we're really hoping that we'll get a lot more productivity out of the food forest. We haven't really got a lot yet, mind you. We only started putting in the fruit trees a couple of years ago, but it's a long-term project, and we're getting there. Like I said, we started with nothing. We have something at the moment, but yeah, we're really looking forward to this space growing more and more over the coming years. And I feel like the last 8 years was really laying down a foundation, making some good decisions, making some bad decisions that we pay for, and we learn from. And I'll show you around the rest of the property and some other videos where I sort of feel like we started this channel right at the time where some things will really take off, and then we've noticed some mistakes that we have to fix. So we're kind of at an interesting phase in this process. But thank you for joining the channel, and if you've made it to the end, I really appreciate you watching, and hopefully we've earned your subscription and a like for the video. And yeah, we'll keep you posted with how things develop with the watering rainwater system, and how we capture all the water and some of the progress there, and other things that we've got going. But yeah, all right, I'll finish this video here. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in another video. So it looks like the cool change is coming. The wind's picking up, the temperature has dropped, and it looks like rain is on its way.